Nutrition. Why does it matter? So there's so many concepts parts of our well-being that influence each other, and everything is connected. We talk a lot about mental aspects of how to deal with other persons, how you change your perceptions, how to change your feelings, and all of that. But we're really one big machine, and it's all connected. So if you don't take care of our physical body, which includes nutrition, of course, which is basically the biggest thing that we kind of expose our body to, right? We put stuff into ourselves. So what that type of stuff is really impacts how this machine is working and also impacts your brain chemistry, etc. There have been found linkages between food intolerances and depression. And of course, these are extremes, but this is a continuum. So the more bad stuff you put in your body, the worse it will function. And unfortunately, in today's world, in 2019, we put a lot of shit into our bodies constantly and often unaware. Um, so I'm going to talk about two parts of nutrition. One is what we eat, of course, and that's where most people are focused on, and when we eat. What we eat. So first of all, it is kind of, when you think about it, it is kind of common sense that our body should work really well when we put into it what nature produces. So really practical tip number one, the closer you eat to nature, the better you will feel. Now, together with that, of course, the more balanced your diet is, you want to get a little bit of everything. Again, the better your body will probably get, and for me, this is again common sense, what it needs. Now, the closer to nature, what does that mean? That means actually as close to nature as possible. If the stuff has gone through a factory, it's called processed and it's not nature anymore. So a friend of mine once said, whatever has a label on it, you wouldn't eat. And that's quite extreme, of course, and it's difficult in today's world. But again, as with any concept I talk about it, it's not about achieving perfection, it's trying to do your best. And the more you try, the more it will become a habit and the easier it will become. I switched to, and obviously this is a luxury to be able to do that, but I switched to cooking most, if not, well, not all my meals, but all the meals I eat at home are self-cooked, and I eat a lot of at home. I found both pleasure, interesting, it's something that I never thought I would find pleasurable in cooking. It can be a very meditative uh, exercise. So I love actually the cooking more than the eating now when I cook myself. But also it allows me to control what's actually in there, from the fat I'm using to the type of food, where the food is coming from and what it actually is. And so when you look at where the food is coming from, you want not only to eat as close to nature as possible, so it hasn't gone through a factory, but ideally it hasn't been long in transportation, which is how it loses its nutrients. Ideally, it hasn't been treated, so you want it organic, because otherwise you eat just all the stuff that was put on it, and it accumulates. Your body can cope with a lot, if you give it bad food. It's no problem to go to McDonald's once a month, or to eat like genetically modified food, or to eat food that has been treated with herbicides and pesticides. That's all fine. But if you do it every day, 3 times a day, for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, your body will start wearing off and won't be able to fight. And then you get things like cancer and all the other modern diseases that we really don't have to have if you just take care of what you put in your body. So first, as close to nature as possible. Secondly, as little treated while it was in nature as possible. So I only eat organic except when I'm out at friends or when I'm in a restaurant. I can't control that, so then I just eat whatever is there. But as I'm mostly eating at home and cooking at home, I have, like, let's say 80% control over what I eat, and I think that's a good balance, and or as close as you can get to that. Thirdly, so again, uh, close to nature as possible, as local as possible, as least treated as possible. And then you have to go into more specifics, as balanced as possible. And when you go into the more details, for example, white rice is again treated. Like, you won't have brown or wild rice, because the white rice has the germ removed and basically it's empty calories. Yes, it's going to give you energy, but it's has removed all the nutrients. So again, and then you need to take some supplements, which possibly you otherwise wouldn't need. Supplements is another topic. The problem with most food that we eat today, while it looks great, it doesn't have any more the stuff in it that we need because of where it's coming from, because of how it has been treated, because of depleted soils, all of that. So even if you eat really healthy, you might need supplements, and you can do checkups with your doctor or mineral tests. You have to be kind of careful where you do the test from, because how reliable it is, but there you can easily see your deficiencies. Something I also recommend is looking into food intolerances. Your stomach might just not like certain food, and it might impact your bowel and your digestion and how you absorb food and your general health. And there's tests to check that, and then sometimes it's enough to remove those foods for a while, and then you can eat them again. And so you can discover things like gluten intolerance or any type of intolerances, and that impact your well-being, because the more your body has to fight against stuff that you put in it or that it doesn't like or cannot work with, it's kind of like putting the wrong type of gas into your car, just that in a car it will immediately break down. Or let's say you dilute the gas a certain way, you put water into it, the car is going to be okay for a while, but then it's going to break down. And exactly the same is going to happen with your body. And it goes, for example, also the oils that you use to cook. It has a huge impact. Some are really strong in omega-6, and that's really not good for your body. You want to have a healthy balance between omega-3 to 6. People say it should be 1 to 2. So I use virgin olive oil for most of it, but when you cook really hot, that's not good. And you want to use rapeseed oil. And with rapeseed oil, there's different types. There's a type that's called canola in the US, and that's the healthy one. So that's what I use. Now you might think, okay, this is really health freak, and a year or a year and a half ago I started getting into this stuff, but the more you research, the more you realize really this is relevant. And unfortunately, the stuff you get served in a supermarket, even though everybody gets it from there and eats, or what you get served in a restaurant, everybody does it, doesn't mean it's the right way, right? That's why people get sick. That's why we have all these modern diseases of affluence like cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. It's not that just because we live longer. No, it's because we treat our body the wrong way. And modern lifestyle with all the stresses has it made really difficult to kind of eat healthily. So I would encourage you to try to be more aware of it, more conscious, and try where you can. Also, limit red meat intake for your own health, obviously also for the environment and ethical aspects. I eat basically no red meat at all anymore. I still eat a little little meat, like chicken, because I'm still exploring how to get the perfect balance without eating any meat. So I'm taking B12 supplements, etc. You need to do, like with any topic in life, to really do well, you need to really look into it and try to understand all these aspects. But I gave you a couple of pointers. Another thing, you want to make sure you get enough fiber. Fiber is basically eat plants, like eat fruits and vegetables, and don't press them into a juice, because again, that's too concentrated and you get a lot of sugar, which again then creates, generally any sugar or processed carbs create insulin, shoot the sugar up, create insulin spikes, create insulin resistance, creates prediabetes, creates diabetes. Again, you don't want that. And these things take time, right? Just because you eat sugar now won't be a problem. So you don't obviously want to drink Coke and all of this stuff. And I'm running out of time here, so I will cover the other aspect of fasting and when to eat in another video. But I hope I give you a couple of pointers. And if you like this video and this was the first one you see, you can find all of my videos on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. Subscribe to it. If you have any topics you want me to cover, please let me know. I'm always looking for new stuff. I mean, I have plenty to cover, but I love to hear what you want to hear. And on my website, you find the links to all the videos, as well as, so you can see what I talked about it already, as well as books, videos, etc. that are related to the topics I cover. Have a great day and start making changes, and life will never be the same again.